Well, better hunker down, boys and girls, because we are in for several years of escalating tech censorship, and really ain't not a dang thing we can do about it. So last night, Dave Rubin was suspended on Twitter for 12 hours for expressing an opinion. He expressed an opinion. He expressed a personal opinion that he could back up with news sources from USA Today, The Washington Post, CNN, all of the news sources that the blue check journalists absolutely love and think are above reproach. Dave Rubin can back all those things up to express this opinion, and it's still not good enough for Twitter, who likes to censor anyone that they disagree with. So last night, Dave tweeted this out. They want a federal vaccine mandate for vaccines, which are clearly not working as promised. Just weeks ago, people are getting and transmitting COVID despite the vaccination. Plus now they're prepping us for booster shots. A sane society would take pause. We do not live in a sane society. And I'm going to add on to this and say that I almost didn't even cover this on this channel because the reality is that I currently have a strike on my channel. I got a warning when I had a friend on my channel to talk about his family's experience with the vaccine, and that's pretty much all I can say. So I got a warning strike for that. A couple of weeks later, I got an actual strike on my channel for being a psychologist. In real life, I am actually a psychologist. For being a psychologist, talking about a peer-reviewed psychology article about the psychological impacts of masks. YouTube gave me a strike on my channel for that, and it is entirely possible that I could get another strike on my channel for even talking about the opinion that Dave Rubin tweeted that got him banned from Twitter for 12 hours, regardless if I agree with that opinion or not. I happen to agree with it wholeheartedly, but even he has news sources to back it up. So we have USA Today here, an American tragedy. Biden offers incentive mandates to get 90 million holdouts to vaccinate. Now, we can just set aside for a second the idea that, like, why do we need to be bribing people to get a life-changing, earth-shattering vaccination that everyone should want? Why do we need to be bribing people for that? If this is so obviously good, then why do we need to start handing out bribes for people to get the vaccine? That's the question I have. The Washington Post says vaccinated people who become affected with Delta shed just as much virus as those who are not vaccinated. And CNN says Pfizer data suggests third dose of COVID vaccine strongly boosts protection against Delta variant, which is exactly the booster shot that Dave was talking about. And yet here we are, suspended for 12 hours, locked out of his account for tweeting. They want a federal vaccine mandate for vaccines, which are clearly not working as promised just weeks ago. People are getting and transmitting COVID despite the vax. Plus now they're prepping us for booster shots. A sane society would take pause. We do not live in a sane society. And here we are. Here we are. And the reality is that there ain't a dang thing that can be done about it. Because although the conservatives especially, they shout about big tech censorship, they use it as a rallying point to try to get votes. And then when it comes to it, they do actually nothing. Well, actually, I shouldn't say nothing. Maybe I shouldn't be too hard on conservatives, because apparently there is a bill in the House on this very issue. Top House Republicans dropped new bill to rein in big tech censorship. Now, we're going to take a look at this article, but let's just acknowledge for half a second, this is going nowhere. This will go absolutely nowhere because the Democrats control the House, the Democrats, in theory, control the Senate, and the Democrats control the White House. And let us not say, well, in 2022, we're going to take it all back. No, we're not. No, we're not. Because after 22, even if the Republicans take the House, which they might, even if the Republicans take the Senate, which I guess they might, they're still not going to take the White House, and so it will still not matter, and Joe Biden can still veto whatever Joe Biden, or perhaps Kamala Harris by then, wants to veto. But let's take a look at what they're trying to do. Top House Republicans dropped new legislation Wednesday to overhaul controversial law that gives social media platforms legal immunity for content attempting to reduce what they say is rampant censorship of conservatives. House Energy and Commerce Committee Republican leader Kathy Rogers of Washington and House Judiciary ranking member Jim Jordan of Ohio, I actually do like Jim Jordan, he's one of the few people that I do like, introduced a draft discussion bill to amend Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, a provision that protects social media companies such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube from being sued for content posted by their users. The draft legislation, supported by House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy of California, aims to stop social media giants with hundreds of millions of users from having 230 protection, holds the major platforms accountable for content moderation decisions, empowers users to challenge unfair instances of censorship online, and force tech companies to be transparent about what they censor and why. You know, just the other day, YouTube demonetized one of the episodes, the newest episode that Joshua and I did of Nothing Remotely Controversial, and it seriously took me flaming them and shaming them on Twitter for demonetizing a psychic for predicting outcomes in the news that they may not like. It took me shaming them on Twitter all afternoon to get them to admit, oh yeah, we made a mistake in demonetizing the psychic, our bad, and turning it back on. Big Tech is out to get conservatives. This draft legislation builds upon previous work by our conference to undo the legal immunity that Big Tech hide behinds to evade accountability. We want to hear from our colleagues about how we can move forward together to finally stop the censoring of conservative voices on the internet. Now, I'm going to go so far as to say here that I don't actually particularly care if the voices are conservative or not. As a general rule, and there are absolutely exceptions to this, but as a general rule, I don't believe people should be deplatformed. I don't believe people should be censored, especially not for expressing an opinion like Dave did. This is a personal opinion. He's not telling people not to get the vaccine. He's not saying if he got the vaccine or not. I actually don't even know if he got the vaccine or not. He's not giving advice. He's not giving medical advice. He's not making any assertions about anything other than maybe we need to slow down a minute and just be a little bit more thoughtful about this. But of course, no, in our society, that's not allowed. You are not allowed to express any dissident opinions whatsoever. Here we are, banned on Twitter for 12 hours because of it. Well, you guys know where you can find Dave. You can find him on his locals. He was live streaming on his locals last night. I believe his is RubinReport.com. You can get there to join his locals. And hey man, while you're on signing up for Dave's locals, you can sign up for mine as well, kb.locals.com. It is actually free to join. You don't have to pay anything to join. If you just want to go to kb.locals.com and sign up and join the community and check it out, you're more than welcome to do that. But if you want to support the work I'm doing and the work Dave is doing as well, what you want to do is sign up as a supporter, $5 a month or $50 a year. So you get 2 months for free if you sign up with the annual membership. And Locals is a place where we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. I feel completely confident. If I were to lose my YouTube channel today, I feel completely confident because I have Locals as my backup. All of my videos are posted there ad-free. I do 2 Zoom calls a week with my community. We're doing a debate club actually tomorrow on Saturday. So if you join now, you can get into that debate club. We're doing book clubs. We're doing Stitchin' Bitches, Craftin' Bitches, whatever you want to do. And we're doing this all within the Locals community. My Locals members actually just launched me a Discord. I don't know how to use Discord yet, but I'm going to learn. And so we got that going on in there too. And it's a place where we can talk about what we want to talk about. We don't have to worry about being censored. And we don't have to worry about being locked out on Twitter for 12 hours for something dumb like expressing an opinion. And that's all we can really do for now, because as much as the Republicans want to, front like they're doing something, again, this bill ain't going to go nowhere. Listen, I'm glad they're introducing it. I'm glad they're trying. But this is going to go nowhere. This is not going to be an issue that is going to be able to be tackled until, frankly, the current occupants of the White House are out of there. So we should all hunker down for several years of this, and it's just going to get worse, and it's just going to escalate, which is why it's really important that everyone get over to the alt-tech platforms where we can still have open communications and discussions. I'm not saying leave Twitter. I don't think people should leave Twitter. Twitter is a battleground area that journalists tend to care about. You can get a lot of news on Twitter. You can spread information really quickly. You can pressure people on Twitter. I am not making the argument that you should leave Twitter or YouTube or any of these things. You do not cede the battlefield ever. That's dumb. It's like retreating. But we have to get on the other platforms too, and we have to start building those up, and you have to support the people that you want to support. So get onto Dave's locals, and get onto my locals. They'll always be there in perpetuity, no matter what. That's all I've got for right now. I'll see you soon.